Boris Johnson is facing a make-or-break moment this week in his battle to cling onto power. Here's what you need to know. Pressure for the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson to resign is continuing to build after his office admitted that his fiancée threw him a surprise lockdown birthday party involving up to 30 staff on June 19, 2020, when COVID rules banned indoor gatherings. According to The Guardian, a report into the allegations that Johnson and the team around him have repeatedly broken COVID-19 protocols is due this week, with the previous allegations as follows. On May 15, 2020, legal restrictions stated people in England could not leave their house without reasonable excuse, but the Prime Minister and his staff were photographed with bottles of wine at the Downing Street Garden, and 5 days later, witnesses told the BBC that Johnson was among around 30 people who attended a separate drinks event. On November 13, 2020, former Johnson advisor Dominic Cummings alleges that a boisterous party took place on the night he was fired at Johnson's Downing Street flat. Days later, on November 27th, sources say Johnson made a speech at a leaving event for a number 10 aide in which people were drinking, according to Agence France Presse. On December 15th, Johnson was photographed sitting between two staff members holding a number 10 Christmas quiz, days after London moved to Tier 2 lockdown rules, banning two or more people from different households meeting indoors unless reasonably necessary for work. On December 16th, London moved into the top tier of COVID restrictions, but the Daily Mirror alleges that on December 18th, another party was held on Downing Street. Finally, on April 16, 2021, with socializing indoors with people from other households not allowed and meeting others outdoors limited to groups of 6 people or 2 households, 2 further Downing Street drinks parties were held the night before Prince Philip's socially distanced funeral, though Johnson did not attend, according to the BBC. For his part, Johnson said the 2 alleged garden parties in May 2020 were work events. A spokesperson for his wife denied the November 13th party at their Downing Street flat took place, and Johnson denied any wrongdoing regarding the Christmas Zoom quiz. As such, The Guardian reports that Johnson and his team are attempting to cling on to power, with a senior Whitehall figure saying he had never seen anything like the Save Johnson campaign of recent days. They will stop at nothing, the source said, even a war in Ukraine. The suggestion here is that as Russia lines up 100,000 troops on Ukraine's border, the UK's strong statements in support of Ukraine, including publicly alleging that Russian President Vladimir Putin is plotting to install a pro-Russian candidate to lead the country's government, are designed in part to move attention away from allegations against Johnson.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has spoken in his first self-isolation video today since announcing he has coronavirus. He took to Twitter to boost morale, expressing his gratitude to the nation and hero National Health Service workers on the front line.
Hi folks, I want to update you on the latest steps the government is taking to fight the coronavirus. And first, the most important thing is...
In his formal attire, Mr. Johnson said, "Our policy remains unchanged. That is to delay the spread of the disease so as to reduce the pressure on the NHS, reduce the demand on the NHS at that critical peak moment, and that's how we aim to save many thousands of lives. I want to thank everybody who has been complying with our instructions to stay at home." In a rallying cry, he passionately stated, "We are going to do it. We are going to do it together."
We are going to do it. We are going to do it together.
I think one thing coronavirus has proved is that there is such a thing as society. So thank you to all of you, and remember, stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives. Mr. Johnson also praised the army of over 750,000 coronavirus volunteers who have enlisted to assist the national health workers in a move of public togetherness not seen since the Blitz. He also revealed 20,000 former National Health Service staff have returned to their posts to join the fight against the deadly disease. His comments come as case numbers in the UK are at 19,522, and with the death toll currently standing at 1,228. To ensure national effort amid the crisis, the Prime Minister penned a letter now being sent out to British households this week, saying, "It's important for me to level with you. We know things will get worse before they get better."
The BBC reports British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was presenting symptoms of the COVID-19 coronavirus on March 27th. Later that day, he tested positive for the disease. By April 3rd, 7 days after testing positive, the Prime Minister was still presenting symptoms while self-isolating. On April 5th, he was admitted to the hospital for further examinations after his coronavirus symptoms persisted. Johnson was moved to the intensive care unit on April 6th, where he has spent 2 nights under close medical supervision. Quoting Foreign Secretary and current Deputy to the Prime Minister Dominic Cummings, The Guardian reports that Johnson has received oxygen but hasn't required invasive respiratory support.
U.S. President Joe Biden predicted in a press conference that Russia will move into Ukraine after amassing 100,000 troops around its borders in recent weeks. According to CNN, however, White House officials were forced to clarify that any incursion would be met with a severe response after Biden suggested a minor incursion could be treated differently to a full invasion. The precise definitions matter because NATO allies are not united on how to respond to Russia, and there are a number of different forms any Russian action could take. Deutsche Welle reported last month, for instance, that a Russian court had acknowledged Russian soldiers are already present in the Donbas region of Ukraine, though the Kremlin denies it, while a press statement by White House spokesperson Jen Psaki suggested aggression short of military action, including cyber attacks and paramilitary tactics, would be treated separately to any Russian military forces moving across the Ukrainian border, which it said would be seen as a renewed invasion. The phrase renewed invasion referred to the fact that Russia seized Crimea 8 years ago and backed the separatist forces who took control of the Donbas region. As of now, according to the New York Times, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said Russia wants security guarantees which would block NATO from expanding eastward into its sphere of influence, and, according to President Biden, cited by Reuters, Putin has asked specifically that Ukraine never join NATO and that strategic or nuclear weapons never be stationed on Ukrainian soil. In terms of concrete consequences should Russian troops enter Ukraine, the U.S. president said Russian companies could lose the ability to use the U.S. dollar and said more ambiguously that it's going to be a disaster for Russia if they further invade Ukraine.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.